And that is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome in to a Monday edition of Coach and Company. We are here on Stadium Valley Sports Live, available in over 100 million homes every single weekday. Places like, Amazon Prime, DirecTV, YouTube TV, the list goes on and on. Now, coming off a really solid day, and sometimes you just got to lead by example. Yesterday, we nailed a lot of plays here on the show, starting with your boy 3-0. And you see that top game, all you haters out there, I told you, all you need is a game changer on the outside. It changes everything. And the crew, average, except for Marky Model, who really thought his Chargers could even beat that game. I'll deal with him in a little bit. Now, we got to set the stage because we have an incredibly busy day here at the brand. In addition to the morning show around 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, we've got our Coach and Company podcast. We never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes. Then at 2 p.m. Eastern time, you got your choice. You want to talk pro wrestling? Come on over to Sirius XM channel 156, Off the Ropes with your boy, or DG, Mark, and Robbie. 2 p.m. Eastern weekday wagers on our YouTube channel. Then at 5 p.m. Eastern time on our BTT YouTube channel. It's the Coach and Bro Show. It is growing in leaps and bounds. You guys, I'm looking at the numbers. It's crazy. Then at 7 p.m. Eastern time, me, Mikey P, Big Tommy C, and Raphael got the Monday night grind. And tonight there are two Monday night games, the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bengals and the Broncos. So you want to be there right at the top of the show for our best bet on game number one, which starts at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. All right, we got so much to get to in the next 15 minutes, the weekend rewind. Where are my guys going to go today? Then bottom of the hour, we get into those Monday Night Football games. And then in 45 minutes, we're going to start every single Monday looking at games over the weekend that impacted the college football playoffs. We're getting into October. It's time to talk about it. But last night, I can't wait to hear my guys talk about this one. The only thing to not allow one side to talk trash in the Micah Parsons trade would be if you tied. But that could never happen, could it? Oh, but it could. 40-40. It was the best game all season that didn't have a winner. All right, let's get into it because I predict we're going to have 5 winning days this week at the brand. And it all starts with today. So, my guys are impatient as always. It's time to beat the books. Oh, look who I've got today, and we have no time to waste. Raphael, DG, hello, Zeno, and Big Chuck are here. Gentlemen, and I'm going to start with you, Zeno. Last night, what an incredible game. Packers, Cowboys, they were the game of the week. Sunday Night Football, it all came to a head. And if you had the over, you went to bed early. But ending in a tie, talk to me.
NFL overtime sucks. Just go back to flipping a coin and playing football. This is not difficult. The numbers told you when you flipped a coin and played football, the team that won the toss only won the game 52% of the time. That is as close to even as you're going to get. They made perfect the enemy of good. Not everybody needs to touch the ball. Not everybody needs to have a chance. If you'd like to get the ball, play some defense. This isn't a difficult concept. Play sudden death. First score wins. Let's go home early.
I like the energy. Big Chuck, let's go to the other end of that spectrum. What were your thoughts last night on that particular overtime?
Morning, Coachman Company. I would have liked them to got it done in regulation, but I am a little bit happier with they refined the rules. At least they each get a touch of the ball also instead of just the playoffs. But I think it kind of felt like a loss to the Packers and a win for the Cowboys at the end of the day.
Like a loss to everybody.
That's how it kind of felt like to me. Raphael, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, family. Let's see. We watched Florida State UVA in overtime. That finished in a final game. Why don't we just do what college football does?
No.
DG, you were on last night, and I'm going to deal with Mark in a second. And one of the worst picks of all time at the brand. But for the here and the now, you guys were on at halftime last night. There's a lot to live bet. There was a lot to like about that game.
Yeah, we hit on 3 of 4, and the other one pushed. But, yeah, it was Mark that was the lone loss. But I love the fact that we have the overtime rules where both teams get it. Unfortunately, it ends in a tie. That can't happen. So let me present to you real quick. What if we had a kickoff? You start at the 35 for kickers, and you make it, and you go, and you move on every 5 yards, and then whoever misses first loses the game.
Here's what needs to happen, because the reason they're in place is safety. They don't want these guys playing 2, 3, 4, which is what happens in the playoffs. I'm okay. I hated the sudden deaths, so I'm going to severely disagree with you. I hate that you flip a coin, you go down and kick a field goal. I liked it when it was if you score a touchdown, the game is over. But both teams touch, and then you win, then it's fair. But you can't play
fair.
2 or 3.
The coin toss is fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
The game that's taken in the game.
I agree. But you got to play till there's a finish. You got to play until there's a winner. Not with the nonsense 8 team and then the time runs out. It can't be that. All right, gentlemen, I feel the energy this morning. I like it. I dig it. So my first question I have, and there's going to be several. Did I see a hand? Oh, I couldn't see it on the screen. All right. DG wants all the smoke this morning. So, DG, this is a big week for us. Baseball starting, 2 Monday night games, college football in full gear. When you get to October, you start to feel that fall weather outside. We're getting serious up in here. Best bets, go.
Mama birthed me to be way too big to be a leadoff hitter, but here at Coaching Company, I can be. We're going to go Devon Achane. We're going to go with a touchdown here. It's at -115. He's Mr. Do Everything for this Dolphins team. The Jets also allow the most rush attempts to the running back position. He scored against the Jets in both matchups last year. He's scored a touchdown in 10 of the last 14 games. I expect him to roll again tonight. And let's go to the other side. We're going to go to the Denver Broncos running back, J.K. Dobbins, to get a touchdown. It's at -120. I like both running backs, but tonight, J.K. Dobbins is definitely getting in. The Bengals allow the 5th most rushing touchdowns and the 6th most rushing yards to the running back position. He's going to run wild tonight. He's scored in all 3 games this season. He's scoring again tonight.
And the other big question is who's going to be scoring the first touchdown of the game, because the Legends Lounge is open tonight. Not once, but twice. All right, Zeno, coming over to you. Best bets, go.
Garrett Wilson, over 63.5 receiving yards, an incredibly low number for a guy who came into this week top 5 in targets and in receptions, 21 catches on 30 targets. He got double-digit targets last week against one of the tougher defenses in the league in the Buccaneers. He will go over this number against a defense that's bottom 10 against the pass. And then for our second play, we're going Tua Tagovailoa, over 236 passing yards. Here's an interesting note. The Jets have the 4th highest blitz rate. The Jets also have the 3rd lowest pressure rate. So when they send guys, they never get there. Tua should have time here against another secondary that is bottom 10 against the pass. If Miami has any hope to win this game, they got to do it through the air.
And Tua looked great last week against the Bills. He really, really did. I love those 2 plays. Now, Big Chuck, when I was traveling around this great world of ours, one of the great countries that I loved for a lot of different reasons was Sweden. I think I love them even more today. You're up.
Day soccer, Sweden, Djurgården. And speaking of serious, Djurgården, they come in having averaged 1.3 team goals at home, while Sirius, their home away matches average 3.8 total goals, making this a prime over 2.75 full-time goals for the first play of the week. I think we could see a 2-2, 3-1 type of final match. Then we're going to pivot to the NFL, Jets, Dolphins. We have 2 desperate teams. I'm expecting points. When these 2 get together, that tends to happen. The total has went over in 5 of their last 7. Plus, the over has cashed in 7 straight Dolphins games. Go ahead and give me the over 44 in Miami Gardens tonight.
Love that play, because you don't have to worry about which team's going to suck. You just have to worry about which teams are going to score. By the way, is it officially Kiss Up Mountain if you make a play that has one of the companies I work for in the name of the game? I think it is. I think it is. Welcome to Kiss Up Mountain, Big Chuck. We've been waiting for you. Now, Raphael, big boy, coming over to you. What do we got today?
Love Big Chuck's total, because while he was speaking, one of the books just moved it to 45 for the total for tonight. That was kind of funny as he's talking. Then book moves it to 45. How ironic. But we're going to Denver Broncos team total over 26.5. It's because the Bengals D sucks. Plain and simple. The Denver Broncos are going to score pretty freely tonight. So I'll take the team total over 26.5. And I'll take Bryce Hall over 55.5 rushing yards. Why? Because the Miami Dolphins have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. They're 28th in rushing defense in the league. I think Bryce Hall easily goes over 55.5. And don't forget, in week 1, he ran over 100 yards against the Steelers defense. Dolphins defense is not the Steelers defense. They suck as well.
Let's keep this flow go. Excuse me. Mark, you threw me off. Zeno, I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I know you're not a math major, but what is 80 minus 51?
That would be 39, right?
No. Close. I mean, real close.
29. But hey, it's all the same here at the fam. Mark from JTS is here, and I just happened, because I had nothing else to do, tune in last night. And I was like, man, maybe I'll make some live bets on Sunday Night Football. And you gave out the first one, and you said, over at the mono, bop, 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 bop. And you're like, I can't see. This is your quotes, not mine. I cannot see how this game goes over 51 in the second half. I know they're at 29 at halftime. I cannot see it. Would you like to speak for yourself?
Sure. What do you want me to say? I live and die by the analytics. I will always die on that hill. I would make that play 9 times out of 10.
Wow. Didn't expect that answer. So you'd lose 9 times out of 10. But that's all right.
It's not the same outcome 9 times out of 10. Not the same outcome.
It's okay.
It's like the Chargers, Coach. It's like the Chargers. It was a bad day to have a bad day.
Yeah, they had a bad day.
The absolute right read.
Yeah. Chargers. I think they got a little heated, as I haven't even mentioned my Chiefs yet as one of my best bets. All of you were wrong. I told you. Xavier Worthy comes back. It changes the whole offense. What did you see? Exactly. Now, as I drop my metaphorical mic, Mark, our JTS play of the day. Go.
We're going to target 2 running backs with this one for tonight's 2 Monday Night Football games. We're going to start with the Jets. Braylon Allen to go over 15 rushing yards. Look, he's RB2 for the Jets. He's gone over in 5 of his last 6, and in both games against Miami, he's averaging almost 30 rushing yards against them. And we're going to pair him with J.K. Dobbins to go over 60 rushing and receiving yards. He's done this in 5 of his last 6 games, and he's over in all 3 games where he's averaging almost 79 rushing and receiving yards. Put them both together, you get a plus 118, just Stat Sports play of the day.
Absolutely love it. Be a part of what they're doing over there. Scan that QR code, use our code NFL100, and get the first month for $1. Quickly, what was a worse loss yesterday, Zeno? The Chargers to the Giants or the 49ers at home to Jacksonville?
Oh, by far the Chargers, just because of the long-term season implications. You can't drop that game to that team and give an open door to the Chiefs to get right back into the division. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the Chargers did.
DG, your thoughts on those 2 games yesterday?
Yeah, I hate that Chargers lost in that moment, especially to Jackson Dart in his first start there. And we were all wrong, right? Because he actually willed them to win the game. I do think that the Chargers have a better chance to bounce back, in all honesty, than the 49ers do.
Yeah, they had their first 3 wins were all division wins. And the thing that sucks about the Giants game, because Big Tommy C is like texting me, and all of a sudden the text went from positive to Malik Neighbors, torn ACL, your best player goes down on your biggest day of the year. That's the brutality of the NFL, is that you can lose even when you get a big-time win. So condolences to the Giants in all sincerity, because Neighbors was so much fun to watch, but he will be out for the season. Gentlemen, well done. Just getting started. On the other side, we go a little deeper into the weekend as we rewind what was an incredible weekend in college football and also in the NFL. Then coming up in 20 minutes, we break down both Monday Night Football games. The Jets and the Dolphins, one of them is going to be 4 games back. After 4 weeks, it's Coach and Company having a day, having a vibe live on Stadium and Valley Sports Live. Come on back. All right, gentlemen, no baseball today, but the playoffs start tomorrow, which means we're going to be having the occasional premium watch along starting later this week. But, Zeno, let me start with you because the Mets somehow, after being 25 games over 500 at one point in the season, don't even make the playoffs. Is this the worst drop we've ever seen in baseball?
No, I think they blew a 7-game lead with 13 left about a dozen years ago. So this is Metsing, just like the Jets sometimes Jets. This is the Mets doing that. Look, it's sad because that really is a team that deserved a much better result, a really talented team. And part of me would be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit happy that Juan Soto didn't make the playoffs. But nonetheless, this is that team may not stay together long. Pete Alonso's probably going to be gone, and I wonder how many arms they're going to be able to keep in this rotation. But just a sad state of affairs for the Mets.
It really is. And the Soto experiment, as far as $700 million from both teams, DG, he's got to be sitting here this morning going, hey, it was the wrong decision then. It's the wrong decision now.
I don't know if you can say that's a wrong decision, Coach, because some people don't care about winning as much as, honestly, that we might. And so I look at this as, yes, he's going home and he is feeling good because he is rich. Let's just be honest. But I do think it's going to eat at him. And I don't love this Mets, just their roster, how it's constructed at all. I love seeing them just be set on fire down the stretch.
Raphael, the numbers for the Mets at one point were astonishing, but today they're sitting at home just like we are talking about it.
Yeah, the books are happy that the Mets didn't make it because when they had the best record in baseball, they were getting flooded with World Series action and NL action. I guess the Dodgers are probably the only team that are happy. Now they have to play the Reds instead of the Mets.
If you guys want to hear a real curmudgeon go off on the Mets, look up Mike Francesa on YouTube on his podcast. He's asleep half the time, but the other time he actually makes some really good points, and he did, and he went in on the Mets. So I encourage you to look that up on YouTube. All right, we're back live in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Coach and Company here on a Monday. A reminder, a gigantic day of content here at the brand. Easiest thing to do is subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, Behind the Turnbuckle and also Coach and Company. Turn on your notifications. Every single time we start a show, you will be notified. Now, Saturday, incredible day in college football. Sunday, another incredible day in the National Football League. So on Mondays, we like to look back at a little segment we like to call the Weekend Rewind. All righty, gentlemen. What a weekend it was. And Zeno, I'm going to start with you because Saturday night I took the Oregon Ducks. And as they were up by 14, I'm feeling great. Then when they went down, I wasn't feeling so great. Then the game ends, and I'm feeling great again. I was exhausted. Where are you headed this morning, sir?
The sad state of affairs and the narrative that surrounds James Franklin, who happens to be a hell of a really good coach. But his record in these spots, it's overwhelmingly bad. Now 4-21 against top 10 opponents. If you're limited to Big Ten opponents, he's just 2-18 in those games. 3-12 when Penn State is ranked against top 10 opponents. 1-10 versus Big Ten opponents who are ranked. I mean, it's just for a guy who deserves so much of a better reputation as far as a coach is concerned, his inability to win in big games in these spots is something that he's never going to escape until he actually does it.
Do we think, DG, because of what Zeno just said, that if Penn State is a part of the at-large conversation when we get to the college football playoffs, that losses like this with that record attached to it will hurt him in that room?
I don't think so. This is this Oregon team is really good. Dan Lanning is an excellent coach. I think you chalk this one up to two teams being really good. And yes, that we're talking about Penn State that came on late in that game. Maybe if they started a little bit early and that's a completely flipped game, I don't put too much of stock into a James Franklin record in a sense.
That is exactly what we want our Saturday nights to be, is those type of games. And by the way, Iron Eagle's son, I hate really good young announcers, and he's really, really good. And he sounds just like his dad. He looks just like his dad. So if you guys thought you're going to get any Saturday night games, he's going to be there for the next 30 years. Look for a different network. All right, Raphael. Yesterday, I sat right here in my home studio, and at 6:30 local time, I turned on the Vikings and the Steelers, and it was impressive for one team for 3.5 quarters. Where are you going today?
I'm going to Pittsburgh Steelers, who now get to watch Monday Night Football, just like they had to watch all day yesterday. They got their W, and then they had to see some teams in their division lose, like the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if they get to watch Monday Night Football and see Denver win, they get to see the Cincinnati Bengals lose. They're going to be in hold of first place for pretty much the next 3 to 4 weeks. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be in first place for pretty much almost 3 to 4 weeks. I'll say that again because I have a total season wins over for them, which looks really good. I can't believe the Steelers and the Ravens, boy, going two opposite directions.
Now, there's one face, one name here at the brand who was on this team in August. Zeno, floor is yours.
It's too early to call it yet. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Only a quarter of the season down. But the Steelers' schedule is very favorable till you get to about week 12. They got to continue to take advantage of it. And my whole thought process, again, I never believed in the Bengals, even with Joe Burrow. We knew the Browns were going to be there. And I just said if the Ravens stumble, the Steelers would be the benefactor of that. So far, the Ravens have stumbled. Now, the Ravens aren't out of it. They still have to play the Steelers twice. And the Steelers' last 5 games are absolute murder of the year. So, again, we're not going to celebrate yet. We're in very good position as we have 4 games done.
By the way, thank you. My connection in Kansas City texted me yesterday as I was out at the golf course. And he said that because he saw, some of the behind the scenes, that apparently the hamstring for Lamar Jackson is a little bit worse than what they were making it out to be on the broadcast.
That's the other thing that helps the Steelers. If Lamar Jackson is out, it really takes the Ravens in a bad spot.
It really, really does, doesn't it? Wow. So 1-3, if you're the Ravens right now, not a good spot to be in. All right, DG, there was a really good late game yesterday. And it wasn't the Ravens and the Chiefs. It wasn't the Bears and the Raiders. It was the game that took place 50 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. A place that next March, our guy, my friend, Fluffy, is going to sell out SoFi Stadium for a comedy show. And I'll be there front and center. But yesterday, front and center, what an incredible, 90-yard touchdown to win that game. Where are you headed today, sir?
I love the Colts and the Rams, and I would have never have thought I would have said this coming into the season just overall, but you're talking about 2 teams that are both true contenders. They're 3-1. They're both tied for first place in their divisions. Now we have the Rams. They're going to be at home this Thursday against the 49ers, who they share that division lead with, as well as the Colts are at home against the Raiders Sunday. These teams have a real chance to continue to keep this thing rolling and go into 4-1. And honestly, you're talking about the questions revolving around Daniel Jones, but also Matt Stafford, and they're stepping up along with their teams and actually real Super Bowl contenders. Never would have thought I said that about these 2 teams.
Zeno, let me come back over to you because the Rams, they blew a 19-point lead last week against the defending champions, one of 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. Are the Rams the best one-loss team right now in the league?
I mean, I'm not as high on the Rams as everybody else is. I know I'm on an island in that. I think their defense is really good. And that's one thing that's carrying them on. I don't think their offense is all that potent. And when I look at this Rams team, it's a question of can they stay healthy more than anything else. The offense is really old. The defense is young and fast. The offense is really old, and I don't know if they're a team that's built to win on defense alone. They've got to score points, so I'm not as high on them. But I would not consider the Colts either a legitimate Super Bowl team at all. They won't even get out of their own conference. Not even close. They are not even anywhere close to being as good as the Chargers, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens. They're not even in that conversation.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, I've been all over him this week to pump up the 3-0. He made some really bad decisions yesterday. That last interception when they were down 7 was just a bad decision, and it gave the game away. So we'll see how they move forward, but I tend to agree with Zeno. Now it's my turn. And gentlemen, you guys know, and leave me on screen for all of them, producer man. Don't give me the one shot. Because we like to be interactive here at the brand. We like to call out people in the chat. We like to present ourselves as just one of the people, just a regular Joe. We're not above anybody else. We're not smarter than anybody else. So every time that Big Cheesy steps up to the plate to try and say, Coach, you want another bet? You want another bet? Sometimes I like to make it difficult on myself. Sometimes I like to spot somebody 2 games through 3 games. And then yesterday happens. And as I told all of you all week and on the shows, that Xavier Worthy coming back would change the narrative, would change the game. And all of a sudden, it's a wide open offense. All of a sudden, Travis Kelce's there to catch all these passes. All of a sudden, Juju Smith-Schuster is an all-pro. And at that same time, the 49ers let the Jacksonville Jaguars go coast to coast and lay them out at home with your boy back. The same guy who's starring and standing there in a truck commercial because Eli Manning gets every single commercial in the world right now. And you lose. So now, Big Cheesy, you have a 1-game lead after 4 weeks. I would be very, very scared if I was you. DG, your thoughts. You've been there. He's your boy.
I feel good about the 49ers. Still in this bet, Coach. I know that's going completely against you, but I don't go to Kiss Up Mountain. But I do think that Brock Purdy coming back really hurt them because he coming back off that injury didn't look so hot there. I think next week's a different story.
Raphael?
How ironic that the Chiefs play the Jaguars this week. What if Jacksonville beats Kansas City? That would be fantastic. I want you to do another one piece next Monday if that happens.
Zeno, talk to me.
Before you get all excited, Coach, this is an NFL that features the Tennessee Titans, who are terrible, the New Orleans Saints, who are terrible, the Dolphins and the Jets, who are terrible, and yet all of those teams have allowed fewer points than the Baltimore Ravens, who have allowed more points than any team in the NFL. Before you get excited, go play a legitimate defense before you start celebrating about your 20 points a game cheats offense. Settle.
I keep receipts, boys. I keep receipts. All right, I'll take the energy. I'll take all of the smoke. The only one that probably has...
I just said settle. Relax.
I understand. Somewhere Mikey P, I thought was going to pop in on the show and take a shot at you, Zeno. And I was like, no, not today. Just because your Bears won with a blocked field goal, I would not allow it. What would you say, just hypothetically speaking, if Mikey P did drop in to talk trash on the Raiders losing to his Bears, Zeno? What would you say to that?
Putting your fandom aside, there's a difference between the winning side and the right side. Mikey was on the winning side. He was not on the right side of that game from a gambling perspective.
Preach
is right, DG. Preach. Now, I wouldn't allow him to come in because I don't want to have that video live out there. So when the Bears are 4-9, we'd be like, hey, remember week 4, big dog? Remember week 4? Raphael, numbers wide. Does it change anything that the Bears beat the Cowboys and the Raiders 2 weeks in a row?
Yes, it does, because of how poorly Minnesota has looked. So now you're going to look at maybe this is a second-place team in the division with the Lions being first. So, yeah, the win is a win for them, but it also puts momentum on the Bears side.
They do have momentum, and the Packers now have that dreaded 1 or 2, 1-1, whatever they are. Whenever you have 3 numbers next to your record, that's not a good thing. That sucks because it never helps your tiebreaker at the end of the year. Rarely. All right, gentlemen, well done on your weekend rewind. We're just getting started because the weekend in the NFL is not even close to being done. We've got 2 games tonight, and if you want to come with these 2 games sucks attitude, then go to another show. Every game matters here at Coach and Company. So coming up on the other side, we break them both down. and also tonight on Monday Night Grind. We're only halfway home. It's Coach and Company, Stadium, Valley Sports Live. All right, we continue on here on our YouTube page. Gentlemen, I failed to mention my favorite event of the entire year or 2 years is the Ryder Cup. And yesterday, it was a foregone conclusion. The Americans damn near came back and won. DG, where would you have put that? I know ifs, whiffs, candy nuts, and all that kind of stuff, but it was 15-13. With one match going the other way, they would have had the biggest comeback in the history of the event.
Yeah, it would have been huge. And in all honesty, like I wrote them off, and I believe you did early as well.
Yep.
Like you wrote them off because they just looked like they had no momentum. They were just dead. Scotty was not playing good golf, who was their leader. And so because of that, it would have been a huge comeback. Obviously, they came up a little short, but it would have been enormous.
Now, Keegan Bradley did tick me off because he put Colin Morikawa and Harris English out there twice. They shouldn't even have been on the team. And Zeno, when he was asked a direct question, he said, "We trust the process." I was like, wait a second. You can't take somebody else's line and say that's why we put guys out there. What did you make of the Ryder Cup?
Well, again, the Americans did not play quite themselves well. They dug too deep of a hole to get themselves out of it. I will say what the one takeaway from the Ryder Cup weekend, the entire environment at Bethpage, a lot of people were talking about, and although fans in general in sports have become a lot more boorish and foolish in public, the fact that Rory McIlroy addressed this in the media to me was poignant. How he talked about golf fans and golf should be held to a higher standard in the behavior of the fans and everything else. Yet he's walking around the course saying bleep you, bleep you, bleep you to players. If you'd like to be held, if you want your sport to have a higher standard, you have to exemplify that higher standard there, Rory.
Now, I will say this. I had two buddies who worked the event. They said a lot of things. The NBC had to turn the microphones down when they went to him because of some of the things that were said to him that were completely out of bounds. So I agree with you. But knowing the information that I have, it got really bad really quick. And it made for a higher emotional Sunday, which was what we all want. We're back live. 5 seconds. Oh, very interesting. Good Morning Football just happens to be showing a highlight of Lamar Jackson getting sacked yesterday. So they're doing a segment that I would like to be a part of, but I'm here on our show, on our brand. We're halfway home. If you guys are just joining us, it is 10:32 in the East, 7:32 in the West. We are live on Stadium and also Bally Sports Live and everywhere that you find Stadium. Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV. We are everywhere. Now, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Monday Night Grind. Me, Mikey P, Big Tommy C, and Raphael break down not one, but two Monday Night Football games. But we get it started right here, right now. I need to see my guy, Raphael, because Rafi, tonight might not be the four best teams, but these are important games for these four teams. Any nuggets you can set us off with?
Yeah, the books are telling me they are so scared to move off 7.5 on the Denver game because it's probably the biggest teaser game that's going into this one because everyone had the Denver Broncos in a teaser from either last night's game compared into this one game. It's 7.5 across the board. Will the books move it to 8? Is probably going to be the biggest mystery all day long. And I do see this total going to 45. I think both totals close at 45 or higher.
Now, educate me. Why is that an issue for teasers to move that number?
Just because they're not getting that much action on single action, like the people taking Denver minus 7.5 to either putting it on a money line parlay or teasering it. So if someone's betting a $10,000 teaser, with say teaser and over, they really don't like to move the number on that. They rather move the number on someone putting in, let's say, 50,000 on the Denver Broncos at 7.5. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the books do all afternoon.
All right, very good. I know you're going to be all over it for us tonight on the Monday Night Grind, as you always are, yes?
Yep, I will be there.
All right, Raphael will also be in the chat right now. Any questions for him, if you're watching on YouTube, put in the chat. He'll answer them for you in real time. Now, I got the best in the business at my disposal. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time, maybe 9 hours early to kick it off. Now, I encourage you tonight to tune in right at 7 p.m. Eastern time, because by 7:01, we will have our best bets on the screen because the game starts at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. Then I'm going to start with you because you're my New York guy. And one of these two teams who actually played pretty well last week, whoever loses, and this is hard to do, will be 4 games back in the division after 4 weeks because they have the Buffalo Bills in their division. Is the number right to you?
Yeah, I mean, this would be a pick'em game on a neutral field, so I don't think there's an issue with Miami being a 2.5 point favorite here. I power rate the Jets higher than the Dolphins. I think they're actually a better team. And with Justin Fields coming back, you saw what happened in Week 1, where he was able to put up a lot of points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got hurt in the Week 2 game and missed last week, so I think he gives them the spark that they need here. I lean Jets in this spot.
DG, let me come over to you. Do you agree with that?
I don't. I like the Dolphins here. At home is the biggest key for me, just in general. But I think this Dolphins team found something last week. I think that they can kind of hitch their wagon in a sense to Achan. And so at that point, because they're going to be able to run, I think it's going to allow this offense for the Dolphins to be good enough. Being a field goal game, I think that they can cover the spread in this one.
They did find last week their wideouts for the first time all season. And both guys had big 4th downs. Tyreek had big touchdown when it looked like the Dolphins might be able to pull off that upset. Big Chuck, talk to me on the over in this game, because I know one of us has, I believe it's you. You're on the over in this game? Best bet?
Yeah, definitely love the over. Plus, it's went over in 8 of the Jets' last 10 games and 6 straight for Dolphins versus AFC East teams. And for whatever reason, the Dolphins have had the Jets number when they come to South Florida. They're 9-0. The last
Wow.
9 at home, so they've won 9 straight. While the Jets come in 1-8 just in their last 9 as well. So kind of leaning. I could definitely see one of these scenarios, the Raffy middle sandwich, where the Dolphins win, but the Jets cover.
That's always a tasty sandwich, isn't it? That middle. He likes to go like 2 points. He thinks 2 points is a great middle. We also have other underlying storylines here, Mr. Zeno, and that is the job security of said Dolphins head coach, because the Jets head coach just got there. So how long of a leash does Mr. McDaniel have in Miami?
Not much longer. You lose this game at home in a primetime game. That's not a good look for your team, especially when all eyes are on it, especially if the Jets can continue to score in a bad Dolphins defense that hasn't really requited themselves well to this point in the year. So I will say, a lot more pressure. The Miami Dolphins are the more desperate team here between the 0-3 desperate teams.
It does feel that way because we're also really several years, DG, into the Tua experiment. And it's not an experiment, but he has his bag. He got his contract. So they're locked in, just like the Browns were with Deshaun Watson. It has to work, but just like Matthew Stafford with his back, he's one hit away, one concussion away from his career being over. It's very tenuous with the Dolphins right now.
For sure. And that's what also you could look at the other side with Tyreek Hill. Like, he has obviously been showing his emotions a little bit more off the field stuff, whatever. We'll push that to the side. But on the field, he's showing his emotions because they're losing. And so winning cures everything. But I think you see, if it's a close game, Mike McDaniel stays. But if it is a blowout, there's going to be a complete blow up of this team. A longer week going into next week, maybe they make a change.
Can you imagine being 4 games back in your division after 4 weeks and having to walk in the building and keep it positive? Woo! It's going to be a tough week for one of these two teams, or maybe they'll tie. Maybe that would be poetic justice. Maybe they'll tie tonight. All right, let's flip it over to game number 2. And Chuck, I'm going to start with you. This is an interesting one because the Bengals started the season pretty well. Joe Burrow, yet again, is out. It looks like it's going to be a season injury because it's 3 months. By the time they get to December, their record is going to be so bad. Why would you bring him back? And then you got the Broncos, who last week did something that's very, very hard to do. They lost 2 times in a row on walk-off field goals. They very easily could be 3-0, but alas, they're 1-2. Big Chuck, talk to me.
Broncos, my regression team. I saw it coming, and for whatever reason, this Bengals team has had their number 5-2 ATS their last seven. You're looking at that 7.5. You almost have to take that. Also, Broncos only 1-5 ATS their last six, but at home they are 7-0. Definitely, they should win this one. I could definitely see the Bengals staying within that number, and the under, definitely leaning towards the under, especially Broncos game. It's went under in 4 their last 5.
Yeah, they have a really, really good defense. And I don't know, Zeno, if you have the good Bo Nix who played last week in the second half to almost win against the Chargers, or you have the bad Bo Nix who 2 weeks ago against the Colts, they had that game in hand and he throws a horrible interception. He goes 3 and out, and Sean Payton looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? What's your take on this number? That hook is like a blinking red light to me.
Coaching advantage is massively in favor of the Denver Broncos here, and that's what matters in a game like this. Not only that, you have the Bengals going up to altitude in a place that they rarely ever play. I'm not crazy about laying 7.5 here, but the Bengals defense can never get my money, period. I would never give it to them. They haven't earned it. There's no reason for me to do it. So it would be Broncos or pass for me in this spot.
And right now, Trey Hendrickson is saying, man, I'm sure glad I got that $16 million raise. Feel really good about it. And I'm going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this thing. That's the best part of that $30 million price tag. DG on the other side, Jake Browning, who's had some experience playing in the NFL, but what his storyline has been is he comes out, plays really well. Teams have not prepared for him. Then when they do, all of a sudden they're like, okay, that's why he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. His number is 219.5 at minus 115. I feel like they're going to be able to shut him down. I love the under on Jake Browning tonight. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the under would be a good play there because they're going to have to figure out a way to get a run game going. And I know Chase Brown has been more through the air than on the ground, but I think that they're going to stay close. They're going to have to run the ball and kind of keep this thing in a field position battle. But if you look at Denver on their side, they haven't covered a spread all season. And so because of that, I think that we have a chance for the Bengals on the back of Browning. Even though he might go under in the passing yards, I still think they keep it close enough within a touchdown.
I'm still pissed at the Colts game. I had Broncos on the money line. What are we doing? What are we absolutely doing? Now, Big Chuck, just like Garrett Wilson in the Jets game, because of the quarterback play, Jamar Chase's number is below 70, which is something you never, ever, ever, ever see. Should we jump on that at 68.5?
I would definitely take a look. I could expect the Bengals to be down and having to throw a little bit more, getting away from the run game. They probably could even get that garbage time. Anytime you're getting it under 70, I would definitely look at my man Chase to go over.
Zeno, let me come over to you because this is an interesting one, as Chuck just said, from a props perspective. Because to me, I'm leaning to the Broncos side because Bo Nix has been their quarterback for a season and 4 games. On the Bengals side, they got all these studs, wideouts, but who's going to throw it to them?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at Bo Nix and what he brings, there will be a game where he pops. And this could be the get-right spot for him offensively. And Sean Payton as a coach scheming against a bad Zach Taylor and a bad Bengals defense may be exactly what Bo Nix needs to get right. This is also a Bengals defense that allows the second most yards after catch of any team in the league. So that's a spot here where you could start to look for yardage numbers to be piled up on the Broncos side.
So with that being said, Cortland Sutton DG is 65.5 and Troy Franklin is 42.5. These numbers aren't crazy for the Broncos side.
No, I like Troy Franklin more than Cortland Sutton. I trust Sutton better just within the game, but I think I would take the middle number there on him because we can't trust Mitsubishi Marvin Mims. We can't trust him at all right now.
He's definitely not a BMW. He's definitely not a Mercedes. That's for damn sure. By the way, Bengals next 4 games, excuse me, I think I have that incorrect. It's going to be absolutely brutal. When you look at it, and for the Broncos, they have the Eagles next week. So if they can't win tonight, they could be 1-4 by the time they wake up next week. They've got to win tonight. All right, again, Monday Night Grind tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tune in right at the top of the hour. All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to start every single Monday to look at games and teams that affect the college football playoffs. Alabama beat Georgia at Georgia. Ole Miss beat a top 10 LSU team. Which meant more? It's Coach and Company, Stadium, and Bally Sports Live. All right, we continue on here on our YouTube channel. There's a lot going on, obviously, in the NFL. Has this been, Zeno, with Malik Neighbors, with Lamar Jackson, with Joe Burrow? It's so hard to handicap these games from a betting perspective, but just from a fan perspective, we want to see these guys out there. Has this been the worst 4-week stretch as far as big-time injuries that we can at least remember?
I mean, yeah, they happen every year. Just some are more notable than others. I mean, look, 2 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, ripped his Achilles apart on the second play of a game. This is what happens to quarterbacks and players in certain positions. So, you mentioned some of the other guys. I mean, Nick Bosa's out for the Chargers, the Niners rather.
Yep.
You're missing other key defenders across the league. TJ Watt and guys like that are all banged up. It's very early on in the year. The injuries are coming fast and furious. I'll agree.
DG, let me come over to you because I think that's gonna severely affect, and we'll see how the sports books react to it. But sometimes you can get some good numbers if they don't address certain things.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, I think every season is marred by injuries, and it just depends on who are the notable names. And I think because we're seeing Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb is out. I know he's not season ending, but also Joe Burrow. They're the big names, and because of that, on the forefront, it's just staring us like a blinking red light, like this is danger ahead.
Hey, there was more energy, Raphael, from CeeDee Lamb on the sideline yesterday than he normally has when he plays in the damn game. Talk to me.
Yeah, I was a little shocked at that. I noticed that really quickly. But wide receiver injuries are not going to affect numbers, people. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Lamar Jackson, if his injury is more potent, then yes, we'll see affected. But Bosa, he's always hurt. So that's not going to affect the betting number. A quarterback is the only guy that's going to affect the betting number.
It's really interesting how certain players have that narrative. Joe Burrow is one of those guys. It's just they're hurt all the time. It's not their fault. Injuries are not anybody's fault unless you don't get yourself in shape, and it's one of those type of injuries. But for the most part, all these guys are. We're back live. 5 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Coach and Company here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Now, over the weekend, some big-time games in college football. And whenever you start to get to October, it's time to start positioning ourselves for the college football playoffs because you have the teams that win the Power Four, then you've got the at-large in the group of 5, and then you have the at-larges coming out of last year is basically the SEC and the Big Ten. So, Zeno, I want to start with you because everybody absolutely wrote Alabama off when they lost their season opener to Florida State. Then they went back to work. Kalen DeBoer said, hold my beer. And they pounded a couple of teams. And then they go to Georgia, and they clearly were the better team on that field on Saturday. With that being said, Ole Miss and my favorite head coach in college football, Lane Kiffin, they beat LSU. And my least favorite coach in college football, Brian Kelly. In your mind, which was the bigger win right now for the future?
Well, it's absolutely Alabama. And I did not write Alabama off after the loss to Florida State. Now, that loss took a little bit of a hit as Florida State got dumped by Virginia on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have the same shine that it did before. But this is an Alabama team, at least offensively now, with Tyler Simpson at quarterback. And both Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, they are a team offensively that's looking like the days of lore where there were Bama wide receivers running all through opposing team secondaries, and they're very tough to stop. This is a very talented Alabama offensive one that you can trust and back throughout the rest of the year.
This dude can move. This guy's got legs. He can really, really run. And Division II quarterbacks out there, hey, look at Ole Miss. You still got a shot to play big-time D1. Now, Raphael, let's hit the numbers real quick before I go to DG and Big Chuck. Give me the numbers on these two teams to make the playoffs, but also their numbers within the SEC.
Well, pump your brakes a little bit by that, because don't forget Vanderbilt comes to town to play Alabama, and boy, is Vanderbilt playing some really, really good football. And because let's say Georgia ran all over Bama's defense in the second half. But Bama to make the playoffs is still -$2. I don't like that. Why would you lay -$2? Because their still schedule is kind of brutal. And Ole Miss -165. Ole Miss still has to go to Georgia, to Oklahoma, and they finish the season at Mississippi State, which is no joke this year. So I think both teams don't even make the playoffs.
Interesting. DG, what do you make of that?
All right, that would be shocking to me because I think this Ole Miss team, has a much easier schedule up ahead than we do see with Alabama. This was huge for Alabama because if you lose this, you still have a very daunting schedule ahead of you. And I know a lot of people might be writing off Vanderbilt, but I still think that Vanderbilt's going to be a tough out no matter what week you play them. Because of that, Alabama could end up with 2, maybe even 3 losses and then miss the playoffs for sure.
I wonder if we see for the first time a team with 3 losses, because last year we talked about it when at one point we were right here on the show. They had 5 or 6 teams that were in line, and then they got upset down the stretch, and everything came back to reality. Big Chuck, you live in the heart of LSU country. Where did this rank for you?
That being said, both key victories, but I think the Alabama was, they didn't want to get that second one, all the heat on the board. Plus, they went on the road and beat Georgia for the first time pre-COVID. But like Rafi said, I think as much as I liked Bama this past week, I'm looking at Vandy to come in. Now they could turn around and get shocked as well. So a big letdown spot for Bama, but all day for the Crimson Tide for the biggest victory.
And Raphael, you guys know how I am with my dirty, dirty storylines off the field. That's what I really like to sink my teeth into. And we're going to need you to make odds on what's a bigger storyline long term. The fact that Theo Von, whatever his name is, gets to date the quarterback's mom from Vanderbilt. What's his name real quick, DG?
Diego
Pavia.
Diego Pavia. Thank you, Chuck. And or the fact that Lane Kiffin in his post-game press conference was like, sorry, I can't concentrate on you. I'm looking for my daughter's boyfriend to see if he bet the over. Was there anything more legendary than that? That's why everybody wants Lane Kiffin to be their head coach. He's like one of us. He's a dude's dude. Oh, his daughter, though, that was a savage picture. In weeks, he went straight to the locker room. He wanted no part of his future father-in-law. Gentlemen, I'm ready to have a big day. I know you guys are ready to have a big day. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you weren't here at the top of the hour. That's okay. You got lives, you got jobs. We get it. But it's time right now to lock it in. All right, boys, here we go. 10 seconds or less. Just 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. Big Chuck, you're up or left, so start us off.
Day soccer, Sweden, Djurgårdens and Sirius. I like the over 2.75 with Djurgårdens averaging 1.3 at home and Sirius 3.6 total on the road. Then the NFL nightcap, Jets, Dolphins, the over 44 that is cashed in 7 straight Miami home games.
Just make it simple. Bet on points. Like we did last night with the Packers and the Cowboys. That way you don't have to say, man, this team really sucks. All right, up next, let's go downstairs. Raphael, you're up.
Well, really quick, the DraftKings just had the Miami Dolphins at -3 for 15 minutes, and now it's 2.5 -120. So if a 3 popped up, we're going to see another 3 sometime today. Give me the Denver Broncos team total over 26.5. I think they have a big game. I think Bo Nix has a big game, and I'm just not sold on the Bengals defense. And then give me Bryce Hall over 55.5 rushing yards. This Dolphins defense, rushing defense is horrible. I think he has a big game. I think the Jets could also have a big game as well, so I like both of them.
It certainly feels that way, and your boy also feels that way. Hello, Zeno.
Garrett Wilson over 63.5 receiving yards. This is a guy who's got 30 targets and 20 receptions through 3 games. He'll continue to be the primary target in the Jets offense. It should do this against the defense in the Dolphins that is bottom 10 in pass defense. And then over 236 in the last 5 games against the Jets. He's averaging 253 passing yards. Also against a bad secondary of the New York Jets, ranked bottom 10 in the league in pass defense.
I'm seeing these best bets, and I'm feeling the over, Chuck. Everything leads to the over. DG, you're up.
Yeah, we need some running back tutters tonight. Let's go Devon Achane, touchdown at -115. He scored in 10 of the last 14 games. He does it again tonight. And then let's go through the Denver Broncos. J.K. Dobbins, touchdown at -120. He scored all 3 games this season. Let's make it 4.
All right. And our JTS play of the day is what, Marky?
We're going to go with New York Jets, Braylon Allen to go over 15 rushing yards. He has done this in both games. He's played Miami where he's averaging almost 30. And we're going to pair that with Denver's J.K. Dobbins to go over 60 rushing and receiving yards and hopefully score a touchdown for DG. Put them both together, you get a plus 118. Just Stat Sports play of the day.
All right. You want to be a part of what they're doing over at JTS? Scan that QR code. Use our code NFL100. You'll get the first month for a single solitary dollar and get all the data, all the picks, all the numbers, everything that you could want, you can get from JTS. Now, at the end of every show, we like to make you a little bit smarter. Raphael, what do we got today?
Monday night football games are going to Miami. The Dolphins' last 9 games played on the East Coast have gone over the total, and the Dolphins' last 7 home games, all 7 have gone over the total.
Where do you find these things at? This is absolutely crazy. Now, another little nugget that I guarantee you none of you know. DG, you just used the term tutters. I actually got engaged at a restaurant called Udders. And if anybody knows what udders are, I should have known that my marriage, there you go, was not going to last. And I look back, and every time I tell that story, I'm like, did I really ask my mother of my children at a place called Udders? It's fact. Look it up. Outside of Pella, Iowa. Tip of the cap. Probably out of business. Probably because of the name. Who knows? Gentlemen, great job today. I don't even know why I told that story. Just felt right in the time. All right, it's now time for you to go out into the world and realize that we have the busiest day on tap. We're not stopping. Coming up in about 20 minutes, the Coach and Company podcast. We get a little bit deeper. Then at 2 p.m., 2 different choices, Off the Ropes or Weekend Rewind. Coach and Bro at 5, Monday Night Grind at 7. But right now, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe y'all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire team, damn it, do I love them all. My man Zeno, DG, Big Chuck, Raphael, Marky Model, producer man. I'm simply the coach. Trying to get the train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about every single day right here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Have a great day. See you soon.